أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين الحمد لله الذي هدانا لهذا وما كنا لنهتدي لولا أن هدانا الله والصلاة والسلام على أشرف الأنبياء والمرسلين خاتم النبيين شفيع ذنوبنا وحبيب قلوبنا أبو القاسم محمد والصلاة والسلام على أهل بيت الطيبين الطاهرين بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقهوا قولي أما بعد فقد قال الله في كتابه الكريم وهو أصدق القائلين وقوله الحق بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم ألف لام ميم أحسب الناس أن يتركوا أن يقولوا آمنا وهم لا يفتنون. The verse of the Quran which I've just recited is reported to have been revealed with regards to Ammar bin Yasir, that companion of the Prophet who was tortured simply for saying he believes in God. The verse says, it begins with those huruf al-muqatti'at, the unconnected letters, alif lam mim. Does humankind think that they will be left to say, I believe, yet not be tested and not be trialed? So this is the first verse of that surah, Surah Al-Ankabut, which is one of the surahs alongside Surah Al-Rum and Surah Al-Dukhan, which is associated with these nights, with the nights of Layali al-Qadr. Now before saying something about Surah Al-Ankabut, or at least some of its central themes, I think it's worth saying something about the night of Qadr. Because it's a night whose majesty cannot be captured. As the Quran says, وَمَا أَدْرَاكَ مَا Laylatul Qadr. What do you know of the night of Qadr? خَيْرٌ مِّنْ أَلْفِ شَهْرٍ. Better than 1,000 nights. تَنَزَّلُ الْمَلَائِكَةُ وَالرُّوحُ فِيهَا بِإِذْنِ رَبِّهِمْ مِنْ كُلِّ أَمْرٍ. In this night, the angels come down with blessings, seeking forgiveness, with peace, and with every affair of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. It is peace until the rising of the dawn. This night, the Laylatul Qadr, according to the traditions attributed to the Prophet and the Imams of Ahlul Bayt, is a night we should search for in the alternate nights of the last 10 of Shahr Ramadan. Many traditions point to the importance and the possibility of the 19th night. Even more point to the possibility of the 21st night, and more still point to the night of the 23rd. It is a night for forgiveness, a night for remembrance of God, a night where, as the Quran states, the angels descend with God's blessings. But amongst the majesty of this night is its association with one thing, above all else, and that is the revelation of the Quran. As the Quran said, Inna anzalnahu fi Laylatil Qadr. Surely we revealed it in the night of power, in the night of destiny, in the night of decree. Elsewhere, in an even clearer mode in Surah Al-Dukhan, one of those other surahs associated with these nights. Hamim wal kitabil mubin inna anzalnahu fi laylatin mubarakah. Hamim, this clear book, or by this clear book, surely we revealed it in a blessed night. So I want to just spend a few minutes thinking about what it means for the Quran to be revealed. Why is there so much emphasis on the revelation of the Quran in this night? And what is its relevance to us? If the dignity of this night is associated with the Quran, how can better understanding the nature of this revelation have an impact on my relationship with the Quran? Because surely it is a beautiful act to raise the Quran on the head, to mention the names of Allah's beloveds. But we have to ask ourselves a question about the way we engage with the Quran. If we reduce the Quran's value to this, in this very masjid, there is a box of Qurans. There's a box of Qurans this big. And the Qurans are printed so small. And that box is not opened except for on these nights of Layali al-Qadr. The only function of those Qurans is to be kept on the head. We have to ask ourselves, is this what the Quran is for? Or is it more? Before moving to the question of where the Quran should be in my life, let's think about this idea of revelation. What did Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mean when He said, I have revealed it in the night of Qadr? Or in Surah Al-Dukhan, where He says it was revealed in a blessed night. Because I began this khutbah, this speech, mentioning the first verse of Surah Al-Ankabut, which according to some reports, wasn't revealed in the night of Qadr, wasn't revealed during the month of Ramadan. It was revealed regarding Ammar bin Yasir when he was being tortured. Or in nights which have gone before, we've mentioned many verses revealed in different circumstances. The verse from Surah Al-Baqarah, وَمِنَ النَّاسِ مَن يَشْرِ نَفْسَهُ ابْتِغَاءَ مَرْضَاتِ اللَّهِ. We mentioned this verse that there are amongst people those who give themselves seeking the pleasure of God. And God is surely close to His devotees. We said this may have been revealed for Ali ibn Abi Talib. When the Prophet was traveling between Mecca and Medina and Ali lay on his bed. Iqra bismi rabbika alladhi khalaq. Extensive reports from the Prophet, from the Imams, say this was the first verses to be revealed on Mount Hira at the 27th of Rajab. In fact, we have a clear consensus, extensive reports, that the Quran was revealed over 23 years in response to different circumstances, in different conditions. Many of these issues we're familiar with, we hear all the time. The verse of Wilayah, that surely only Allah is your guardian, and the Prophet, and those who give charity whilst in a state of prostration. Revealed regarding, according to hadith reports, regarding Imam Ali in a masjid, not in Ramadan, outside of Ramadan. The verse of Muba'ilah, again, not revealed in Ramadan, revealed in the context of this, debate or mutual dua towards God between the Christians and the Muslims. So we see, and it's across the board. I've given examples which may be familiar to us. It's across the boards for the Muslims that the Quran was revealed over 23 years. The Quran itself testifies in Surah Al-Isra, وَقُرْآنًا فَرَّقْنَاهُ لِتَقْرَأَهُ عَلَى النَّاسِ عَلَى مُكْثٍ وَنَزَّلْنَاهُ تَنزِيلًا. The Quran says it is a Quran which we have revealed in portions, so that it's easy for you to recite to people in its appropriate time and place. We have revealed it as a gradual revelation. So now what do we do with the revelation on the night of Qadr? Which again the Quran explicitly talks about. We have revealed it on the night of Qadr. Now this is a serious scholarly question, which has been explored by the ulama in works of tafasir and in works of ulum al-Quran, the discipline of the Quran. And we'll look briefly at some of these theories before moving towards the relevance to us, what we might take from these debates. So basically we have four major theories. How do we resolve this idea, which is very clear in the Quran, that the Quran was revealed on Laylatul Qadr, And this idea which we see of the gradual revelation of the Quran, being revealed in response to circumstance. Sometimes it was a question. يَسْأَلُونَكَ عَنِ السَّاعَةِ, for example. It says the Quran mentions that you are asked about the hour, O Muhammad. And the verse continues. أَيَّانَ مُرْسَاءَ, when is it coming? So we can see clearly the Quran was revealed gradually over time. How do we reconcile these two ideas? 4 major theories. The first theory is that the commencement of the Quran's revelation was in Laylatul Qadr. The second theory is that the revelation which was required by the Prophet for the whole year, each year was revealed in Laylatul Qadr. The third theory is that the majority of the Quran was revealed in Laylatul Qadr. The fourth theory is that there are 2 stages of revelation. The first stage of revelation was the Quran in Laylatul Qadr in summary form, in general, being revealed to the Prophet, and then it being revealed gradually, point by point, in response to particular circumstances. Now it's the fourth reading, this fourth theory, that there's 2 stages of revelation, okay, which has been taken up by scholars of hadith. Scholars of hadith both from the Shia school and from the Sunni school, although with some understandable variations. And it's, for example, the position which is taken by Sheikh, or which we find in the traditions of Ahlul Bayt. For example, we have a hadith attributed to Imam Sadiq salawatullahi wassalamuhu alayhi, which states exactly in response to this question. So somebody asked him, what does it mean that Shahrul Ramadan alladhi unzila fihi al-Quran? What does it mean, this verse that we've been reading this month, day in, day out, that the month of Ramadan is the time where the Quran was revealed, when we know it was been revealed gradually over 23 years. Somebody asked the Imam as-Sadiq this question. It's reported in the Tafsir al-Ayashi, one of these early classical Shia tafsir, which is based on the hadith of the Imams. It was asked of the Imam, what's going on here? The Imam said, نُزِلَ الْقُرْآنِ جُمْلَةً وَاحِدَةً فِي شَهْرِ رَمَضَانِ إِلَى بَيْتِ الْمَأْمُورِ. He said that the Quran was revealed in the month of Ramadan to the Bayt al-Ma'mur. The Bayt al-Ma'mur is generally understood as being the 7th heaven, or in some reports the 4th heaven. So the Quran was revealed in the month of Ramadan to Bayt al-Ma'mur. The Imam then continues and he said, it was then subsequently revealed to the Prophet in response to circumstances, in its time and in its places over the following 20 years. So we see this fourth theory has been picked up by the ulama. And it distinguishes between 2 senses of revelation. One is inzal, inna anzalnahu fi laylatil qadr, which talks about a sudden, a complete, a spontaneous, a one-off revelation. And the other is tanzil, nazzalahu tanzila, which is the gradual revelation. Now our question was, okay, we have these theories. So what? What's its relevance to me? How does it affect my engagement with the Quran? Before we move to the relevance, look at how these ideas have been taken on by some of the masters of the Quran within our tradition. The likes of Mullah Faith Kashani and the more recent Alama Muhammad Husayn Tabai. They say we could accept these hadith at face value, that the Quran was revealed to Bayt al-Ma'mur, to the 7th heaven or the 4th heaven in the night of Qadr, and then gradually revealed to the Prophet throughout his life and throughout the duration of his Nabuwah. So we could accept this. And many are happy. This is enough for us. This is the word of the Imam. It's enough for us. We accept it. But they go further. They say we don't have to accept anything which we can't understand at face value. We can go deeper. And the theory which Faith Kashani gives us, and Allama Tabatabai moves forward, is very interesting, very beautiful, can help us engage with the relevance of the Quran today. They say that, look, this Bayt al-Ma'mur doesn't have to be the seventh heaven. Say that revelation on the night of Qadr could mean that it was the revelation of the meaning of the Quran, the essence of the Quran, the spirit of the Quran to the heart of the Prophet. And then, over 23 years, from the inner aspect of the heart of the Prophet, the verses were revealed to the outer aspect of his tongue, verse by verse, in response to circumstance after circumstance. So again, we ask, what relevance is this to me here and now? Look, if the majesty of this night, the dignity of these nights, the Layali al-Qadr, is associated with the Quran, then it's the revelation of the message of the Quran, not the form of the Quran. It's the revelation of the spirit of the Quran which glorifies this night. Not these sounds, these words simply. Not these letters which are recited, but the very ethos, the spirit, and the direction in which the Quran wishes to take us. The Quran says, شَهْرُ رَمَضَانَ الَّذِي أُنزِلَ فِيهِ الْقُرْآنِ. The month of Ramadan is the one in which the Quran was revealed. This straight revelation. هُدًى لِلنَّاسِ وَبَيِّنَاتِ مِنَ الْهُدَى وَالْفُرْقَانِ. It says, as a guidance for people, as a clear distinction of what is right, as a criterion. Look, when we place the Quran on our head, this should just be a mere symbol. The real majesty of this night and the majesty of the Quran is in its potential to actually guide us. It's the message of the Quran which is supposed to move us, not an empty ritual. Look, sometimes we laugh and we joke when people raise the phone on their head, because the Quran is in the phone. But maybe we should, because I think the phone guides us more in our life than the Quran. Look, if we imagine, if we open the Quran as many times as we open our phone in a day, even in just one day. In one day, if we open the Quran as many times as we open our phones, and try to go beyond the form, towards that meaning, towards that spirit, towards that ethos which glorified these nights, they would change our lives. It would change our world. The Quran can move us. The message of the Quran can move us. Okay, this ritual is a beautiful ritual of raising the Quran on a head. If it's a platform towards the message of the Quran, recitation of Surah Al-Ankabut, Surah Al-Dukhan, Surah Al-Rum is the same. It's not just an act to be done. These surah can take us forward. One example from Surah Al-Ankabut, just to link the verse which I commenced with at the start of the khutbah, and to give us something on these days before we read these verses. Okay, that there is something in them for us. The first verse of Surah Al-Ankabut said, does man think? أَحَسَبَ النَّاسَ أَن يُتْرَكُوا أَن يَقُولُوا آمَنَّا وَهُمْ لَا يُفْتَنُونَ. Does man think that he can simply say, I believe, and not be tested, and not be tried? Allah's pointing to the reality of this world. Look, we say we live in unprecedented times, unprecedented challenges, no doubt. And every man's challenge is different from the others. No doubt, unprecedented challenges. But here Surah Al-Ankabut is reminding us that to have challenges is not unprecedented. It's part of human life. لَقَدْ فَتَنَّ الَّذِينَ مِنْ قَبْلِهِمْ. We've definitely tested those who came before. And after Corona, there will be another test. The Quran goes through in Surah Al-Ankabut, every prophet of God received tests. Never mind the likes of me and you, the best of humans' creations, the lover of our hearts, Husayn ibn Ali. Today we stick with the Quran. Every person receives tests. Every person receives trials. Surah Al-Ankabut tells us in this process, there is the opportunity for us. فَلَيَعْلَمَنَّ اللَّهُ الَّذِينَ صَدَقُوا وَلَيَعْلَمَنَّ الْكَاذِبِينَ. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala surely will know, will show who are the truthful ones, who can raise up, and who are those whose religion lies on their tongues. It warns us, take nothing other than God as your protector. This nights of intimacy with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is that chance. It says, for the one who takes other than God as his protector is like the spider. مَثَلَهُمْ كَمَثَلِ الْأَنْكَبُوتِ اتَّخَذَتْ بَيْتًا. It's like the spider who takes the web as their home. And how fragile is the home of the spider. Look, the beautiful thing about just this message in the Quran, this one surah, one theme, it tells us the reality of test, the reality of trial, reminds us to trust in God, and actually promises us, if we struggle, if we strive, وَمَنْ جَاهَدَ إِنَّمَا يُجَاهِدُ لِنَفْسِهِ. Whoever struggles, surely they struggle for their own selves, because Allah is ghani, Allah is needless. But in the final verse of the surah, after the first verse of the surah reminded us of the reality of the test, the reality of the trial, the last verse of the surah, what does it say? It gives this beautiful promise from God. It says, whosoever struggles in his way, الَّذِينَ جَاهِدُ فِينَا. Whoever struggles directing themselves towards God, directing themselves towards godliness, surely Allah will guide them to His ways. وَإِنَّ اللَّهَ مَعَ الْمُحْسِنِينَ. And Allah is with those who do good. On these blessed nights, we pray to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala through the Quran, through the Ahlul Bayt, that He opens up these sources of guidance for us. That He actually allows them to come to inform my life, that they may help me in my difficulties. They may help me, the messages of this Quran, the teachings of these Ahlul Bayt may help me and help each of us grow in this society, become doers of good, become people who are directed to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. We pray to Allah in these blessed nights to heal all those who are unwell, to raise those who are all those who are oppressed, to accept the hajat of all those who are in need. Walhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen. Wa sallallahu ala Sayyidina Muhammad wa Ahli Bayt at-Tayyibin at-Tahirin.